Hey there, guys, and welcome back to another Factorio Community Friday Facts ALT-F4, number 5, Improving on Perfection, and I am joined as always by Bombug.
Hello, hello. How you doing today, X?
Doing pretty good, got lots of stuff on the plate, but glad to be here doing this. We're a little bit late, I've just been doing a lot of other stuff, so sometimes these get pushed back, but glad to be doing it now.
Yeah,
How
we
about
got
you?
some exciting stuff here. I'm looking forward to the explosions here. Honestly.
Yeah, there's some good explosions here. So this first section is about landfill. We're going to touch on the key points, mostly summarize though. It's kind of been touched on before, and yeah, I think we can get the gist. So, welcome to the fifth issue, Fallout F4. We're still picking up steam. Any contributors? So basically, this is just a rehash of what was said last time. That people are contributing, which is awesome. And then Romner follows up the submission last week by talking about obliterating biters with the power of fusion, and Mr. Magpie takes us to the Factorio zone. So this first section about a small rant about landfill by Pokarski, I think. Um, so your mistakes have no cost but time is a quote on the Factorio subreddit. And yes, for almost anything you do in this game, you can undo your actions at any point. This is true for basically everything you can build except for landfill. You can't undo landfill once you place it. You're done. Unless you're using mods, you can't pick it back up. You can't water fill. Like add water anywhere. So you have to be super super careful because once you place it, if you screwed up, you're living with that forever in your game unless you install a mod to be able to allow you to like water fill or something.
Yeah, and if you're placing a huge blueprint and make a little mistake, you can bet that your autosave kicks off right then. It
Yes.
always happens.
Yeah, yeah, it always does, right? um, and so it's kind of an outdated mechanic. Whilst not being able to dig up landfill was perfectly justified pre 17 days, back when landfill was literally just the default grass one tile. They changed it so it's own distinct tile, along with allowing landfill to be placed by bots and included in blueprints. They set up the perfect condition for also removing landfill, or at least allowing us to do something to it which can't be done to other tiles. And I would kind of agree with that.
Makes
Uh,
sense. I mean, we're launching rockets. I feel like we should be able to at least move some dirt that we put down ourselves.
you would think so, right? You would think so. Um, and like we just said, it's an expensive mistake. A piece of landfill is 20 stone to produce, meaning an entire 800,000 stone patch is only enough to landfill a square 200 tiles in length, which is not that much considering the size of many builds. A great example of stuff like this is nuclear reactors, where he made one that required a whopping 2,700 landfill and produced 480 megawatts of power. And basically, the blueprint comparable to that one tile off at first and having about 50 landfill, nearly 1,000 stone just sitting there unused, not available to you anymore. So yeah, it's kind of annoying. I would say nuclear is a great example of this because a lot of people like to build nuclear like in a lake and then landfill like where you actually place the buildings, and you have to be so careful, and it's super tedious to do because if you screw up, well, you're done.
Oh yeah. I mean,
um,
even just trying to do a little simple landfill, you know, around a lake you've been building, and you want to get a little bit of that space opened up. You're it's so expensive, and then later on you realize, oh well, I'm building my factory here. I need just a little bit of water to this one bit of factory, and now you've filled it all up and can't do anything about it.
yeah, exactly. And this last point basically just says what I just said. If you move the blueprint slightly in landfill section where a pump's supposed to go, you basically ruin the entire landfill island, unless you're lucky enough to be able to just move the pump farther away somewhere else and still have it work. But it's just super tedious. And just to slightly add on to this rant, I think that I understand the devs' reasoning for not wanting to add water fill, where you can like actually create water, because that's obviously very overpowered. You can just create a moat around your factory, and then you're safe forever, basically. But I don't see why. I seriously have no idea. I don't see a possible reason whatsoever why you cannot tear up or deconstruct landfill, because that's like Like that's not creating water that wasn't already there. It's literally just picking something up that you place, just like every single other thing in the game. Um, it really just does not make any sense to me why you can't do that.
Yep. I mean, honestly, if they don't want us to be able to make a defensive water wall because they don't have like flying biters and stuff, swimming biters, that's pretty reasonable. Can't we just do a well drill of some sort? Use an actual building that will generate water. That seems like a pretty reasonable compromise too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
and
that's something very mechanically inclined that you should be able to automate, in my opinion.
yeah, I would agree for sure on that too. Um, so basically, we just summarize their conclusion. Irreversible landfill is an outdated mechanic that can and should be revised. Displacing landfill is extremely expensive since it can't be recycled, and misplacing a blueprint that contains landfill can often ruin entire projects. And I think that's just unneeded. I don't think, like I said, I really see absolutely no valid argument as to why we can't tear up the landfill we placed ourselves. But
The future is now.
old
Let us
man,
dig a hole.
yes, dig a hole. Um, yeah, so hopefully the devs take this into consideration. Yeah, I don't really understand, but moving on to some real cool stuff. Mod Spotlight Realistic Fusion Weaponry by Romner. So after he made the Realistic Fusion Power mod featured in last week's issue, I wondered whether it would be possible to use fusion for something other than power production. Well, thermonuclear bombs are already a thing. Pure fusion bombs are theoretical, but I added them anyway. I'll let the gifts do the talking. So this is, I don't know what is it. Oh dear. Oh, that's huge. um,
Varying sizes of explosions, ending in just a grand, beautiful display of
yes.
destructive power.
So this is fantastic. That first GIF just watched. Move on to the second one here. I'm gonna start it from the beginning. Just various sizes. It looks like very bright, blinding. Makes sense though.
Basically, what we want. If you're looking anywhere uh, where the planet's curvature lets you see the explosion, you should pretty much be blinded. It's kind of what we're going for.
Yeah, basically. Basically, yeah. So the order goes vanilla nuke, thermonuclear bomb, pure fusion bomb. Obviously, they get bigger and bigger. The first gift shows vanilla like explosions, while for the second one, I created kind of a meld of the MERV and vanilla 1.0 explosions. I personally like the MERV like ones more, but if you don't, there's a setting for each bomb. There also is a setting to change the strength of the screen burn if it's too much for you. Maybe you just need
Uh,
to wear sunglasses while you play.
Very generous with the settings. I like it.
Yeah, I
Consider
love
it mod maker for sure.
yes, I love when they put a lot of settings. I don't know. I think you're right. I feel like you just have to be blinded. Like if you're playing and you unlock these bombs, you just need to be like, okay, time to put on my sunglasses. Like,
Yeah. I'm thinking it can just like an alternate version of the explosion can just pull up a screenshot of Discord in light mode,
oh
just
god,
flash it
yeah,
on the screen for a couple seconds. Be pretty equivalent.
yeah. uh, I recently added antimatter to the realistic fusion power. Antimatter can be used for a lot of power production or for powerful weapons. Very powerful weapons. GIF was sped up to account for UPS drops. So I'm gonna start this beginning. That's kind of insane. That
Wow.
I want one. Rocket silo for scale. Oh dear lord.
Oh my gosh. I
Oh
feel
my
like
god.
out America here with this level of explosion.
Yeah, for real, dude. Like this is this is like a game-ending mistake if you have it accidentally equipped and fire. Like, cause you know how people, how you can have it a nuke in your rocket
Mhm.
launcher accidentally selected in your uh, ammo thing, and then you accidentally like hit space. Well, if you do that with this, it's pretty much a game ender.
Yep.
Bye bye entire factory. And outpost probably based on the size of this.
Probably even destroys the ghosts of anything there too.
Mm-hmm. This is insane.
Total
So,
destruction.
um, Well, I mean, and they say anyway, though, actually, that it's only launchable as an artillery shell because there's no way you could survive after launching it from a handheld rocket launcher. Makes sense. Pure fusion and antimatter weaponry also have no critical mass, unlike fission and thermonuclear, which means they can be scaled down to practically any size. That includes small rockets and cannon shells, which create the same explosion, but smaller, which is pretty neat. Shotgun shells. I'm a fan of that.
This is my favorite. I
The,
love this one.
the shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is
After
like,
having looked through, oh my gosh, it's just a thing of beauty.
it's glorious. I love it so much. And even bullets. I really wish that they had shown the shotgun one against enemies like they are with the
Yeah,
bullets.
that would have been nice.
Oh man, this is
Holy cow.
this is amazing. You can just the bot like oh my god, in the what is it, second to last GIF, the biters are just like it like vaporizing. You
It's
just see
just chunks.
chunks, yeah, flying everywhere.
Wow.
Oh
What
dear.
is that called in old games? Gibbs, right?
Gibbs, yeah.
Yep. Just Gibbs everywhere.
This is nuts, man. Um, so there isn't an antimatter rocket cannon shell GIF because it makes an explosion the same size as a pure fusion bomb. And did I mention that all the nukes have artillery shell counterparts? Yes, even the vanilla one. Well, that's pretty awesome. No nuclear artillery is something people would like in vanilla. Also, you know flamethrowers, right? Well, they throw thousands of degrees hot flames, and you can throw. Why throw thousand degrees hot flames? You can throw millions or even billions of degrees of hot plasma.
Yay!
Yay! Evaporate everything. Oh man. And there's a plasma thrower turret too. That's pretty awesome. Of course, all of it isn't cheap. So there are several technologies research costing 10K plasma throwers, 20K thermonuclear bomb, and 50K pure fusion bomb, 100K small scale for fusion weaponry, and 500K small scale antimatter weaponry, and just a few 1 million science packs for the antimatter bomb research. Okay.
All right. You how's your mega base looking? Is it gonna be capable of producing that much science?
Not even close. Not even close, man. Oh my goodness. The
I feel like
recipes are
these,
also expensive. Hmm?
yeah, I feel like a lot of these mods work well with people who have well, what do you call it? A forever save where they keep one sort of master save with all of their big base and favorite stuff, and they just make copies of it for any mods that they're playing, uh, so that they can have their mega base and experiment with all the cool new buildings and stuff. Because you're not really gonna get this kind of level of science production in the normal game, right? You gotta have one that runs for like weeks or months, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, in fact, I just did a base tour on a base that probably wouldn't have much trouble doing this. It is, like you said, a forever base. This person has played it for like 2 years,
Oh man.
and it's insane. They've done, I think, like 500,000,000 science or more.
Holy cow.
So it can knock out the 1 million, antimatter bomb science in probably like an hour and a half.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
insane, dude. So yeah, you basically, like you said, you basically need a base like that for this. So it's meant to be used against powerful modded enemies. Obviously, against vanilla, it's pretty trivial. It just melts them, even the behemoths. You can download it here though, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's that. Super neat. Like you said, I think also I would agree the shotgun one is my favorite.
It's just a thing of beauty, man.
Truly is.
Shotguns are already like such a destructive force. To just say, hey, let's do some fusion exploding shotgun shells here. All right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do that. Yeah, this is crazy. I love it. And then to close this out, we have a service which is Factorio, owned by Mr. Magpie. So,
Dr. Magpie.
Doctor,
Get
sorry,
some respect on that name, sir. Come
Doctor. Yeah, I know it's important. We must call them. I mean, that is their name, Doctor. So, Whew, I don't know. You want to cover this since I already screwed up the name?
Sure. So this is a service by Dr. Magpie. Always wanted to play on a Factorio server with your friends, but don't have the funds to afford one? Well, there's an option available to you, Factorio Zone. It allows you to host your own free server. Wow. So
Wow.
this is a service based on Amazon's web services, and White Fang, the developer of the service, has optimized it and dropped the cost down a lot. So at the moment, he doesn't mind covering the cost for running and it as a contribution to the Factorio community, which is very generous. AWS is not necessarily expensive, but it's not cheap either. So that
Mm-hmm.
means he's one got the good technical know-how to make it cheap, and then two is being very generous to help us out. So
Yeah.
using it's pretty straightforward. You just go to factorio.zone where you can upload your saves and mods. Factorio Zone does not update the mods for you, so you'll have to do that manually. Don't worry about closing the tab with the server. It does create a unique user ID, also known as a token, which is saved in your browser's local storage. When you open Factorio Zone next time, it will remember your save and mods. As it's a free service, there are some limitations that he put in place. If a server has no players on it for an hour, the service will shut down and store the save file. If the player is idle for 30 minutes, then they'll be kicked from the server. And when there are no players on the server, it will pause to protect your base from being overrun by biters, which is kind of a perk, not just saving him money, you know?
Yeah, that is a great perk to have that.
Yeah. It is worth mentioning that Factorio Zone estimates the server size to use based on the map and mods, which means it'll scale with your progression between restarts and should work for most saves most of the time. There are a few cases it doesn't estimate correctly, but Dr. Magpie did not personally encounter any issues with it. There are some semi hacky ways to share your session with your friends such that any of you can start or stop the same server at any time. For that, you just need to extract and share the above mentioned token, and he's got some tools for you to do it. It's not too hard. I've used stuff like that before to
Mm-hmm.
share tokens, copy things over. But at the same time, if you're not techie, just make sure to follow the guides closely. So he says if that's interesting, give it a spin and consider thanking or supporting the developer White Fang for providing this to the community for free. That's pretty cool. What do you think of that?
I think that's pretty neat. I think that's fantastic because, multiplayer is a great thing, and you know, you maybe you need a server, and like you said, you can't afford it or just don't want to pay for it, and this is a great option for that. I think it is worth noting that if you have a very, I would say, fairly small amount of technical know-how, you can just host a game yourself as well, and or even a server. Like you can host a game just through the game, or you can create a headless server on your computer. Obviously, the headless server option is quite a bit more complicated, but still not like super hard. So like if you want, a much more beefy kind of external server, then this is fantastic. But I think just for anyone who may be new to things, and watching, that it is worth mentioning because I think some people don't realize this. I've been asked this multiple times. Uh, you will likely need to port forward, which I think is a fairly well known how to do thing. It's you can Google it in for your modem, but you need port forward most likely. But other than that, you can just host a Factorio game for people to join, like just from in the game on your own computer.
Yeah, so port forwarding for someone who's never done it before, there are a lot of guides out there, but it can still be confusing. And at the same time, port forwarding is very security,
Yes.
a very big security risk, basically, for your home network. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's now you may not need to. I mean, there have been times we haven't needed to. Like I think if you maybe can get around port forwarding if you just have them like if they're a Steam friend and you have them join like through the Steam
Yep.
interface.
That's a good
Um,
way to do it.
so that's a good way to do it. Or like I said, you can just create a headless server on your computer and stuff. Again, that's a bit more complicated. Or this, and this is a fantastic option. Just giving want to share the knowledge because I think a lot of people don't realize you can actually host a game yourself if you want to.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this is fantastic. Really great thing that they're doing here, offering these free services. The whole Factorio community is fantastic. And I think that'll do it. Again, just a section at the bottom for contributing. They have a Discord if you want to join it, give some contribution, and definitely look forward to the next one. Do you have any last thoughts here?
Similar to the last time we saw some of the weapons mod stuff, I really, really loved the exploding shotgun shells, and I really love the idea of being able to put that on Spidertron.
Yes.
So I hope that can happen. Um, just a little hope from me, you know. How about you? Any other particular weapons you want to see modded around?
Hmm. Man, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I'd like. I mean, there is a decent amount of weapons. I feel like there could be a place, although it's a little bit fiddly, but I think it would be interesting to have some sort of like sniper.
Ooh,
I mean, there are mods that do snipers. So that's one thing that exists. I think modding shotgun is good because I feel that the shotgun in vanilla isn't that great. The combat shotgun with the piercing rounds is pretty decent, but overall, there's so many other choices. I feel like it's actually
yeah.
just kind of lower tier.
I feel like this happened with me where the first time I got the shotgun was pretty underwhelming compared to just using a submachine gun.
Mm-hmm.
And like it had some good times like against the bases, I guess. It's like a little more ammo efficient, right? But then when I got better ammo and upgrades, I just didn't even go back to the shotgun. Maybe when it becomes better at some point, but I just stuck with the submachine gun.
Yeah, I usually do as well. So I like that people mod around that because I think that could use a little love.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty
cool.
cool.
Great stuff as always. Look forward to seeing what's here next week. As always, guys, thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed. Leave your thoughts below as always, and you can discuss on their Discord and Reddit. And until next time, we will see you later.
See you later.